Who is to blame when a marriage fails? What measuring stick do we use to assess its success? Today, we're diving into a case that proves that sometimes, what happens in the bedroom becomes a legal matter in the courtroom. We're talking about the 1997 Philippine Supreme Court case of Ming Tsoi versus Gina Tsoi. So, picture this. It's May 22, 1988. Ming Tsoi and Gina Tsoi are getting married at the Manila Cathedral. Big day, right? The dress, the vows, the reception at the South Villa. Everything seems perfect. They're a new power couple, ready to start their lives together. First night of their married life. The air is thick with anticipation. The moment is here. And Ming Tsoi turns his back and goes to sleep. Gina, our bride, is a little puzzled. No worries, maybe he's just tired. It's been a long day. The next night, same thing happened. Third night, still the same thing. Fourth night, you guessed it, more sleeping. We're talking about a level of commitment to napping that would make a cat jealous. In an attempt to spark some romance, Gina suggests a honeymoon trip to Baguio. This place is known as the City of Pines. The city is famous for its abundance of pine trees and lush greenery, which contribute to its cool, crisp air. Perfect for honeymoon. Ming's response: great idea, let's bring the entire family. He invites her mom, his mom, an uncle, and a nephew. 4 days in Baguio, and the closest they got to intimacy was probably sharing a bag of potato chips. The husband, in what can only be described as a masterclass in avoidance, would take long walks during siesta time or just nap on a rocking chair. A rocking chair, who does that? 10 months go by. 10 months of sleeping in the same bed, with no spaghetti and meatballs, no fun time, no procreation. At this point, Gina is understandably concerned. They both go to a urologist. The results: Gina is healthy, normal, and, yes, still a virgin. Ming's results: a secret, kept confidential, like a state secret, but he did get a prescription. He never went back for follow-up. This is the legal equivalent of a, sorry, can't make it to my own trial, I have a thing. Gina, fed up, files for an annulment. Her claim: Ming is psychologically incapacitated. She even brings up some interesting observations, like him using eyebrow pencils and his mom's cleansing cream. She thinks he's a closet homosexual, and only married her for residency. Ouch. Ming's defense: he denies everything. He's not impotent. He loves her. He just didn't. He claims she was the one who was avoiding him, and always removed his hands. The one time he tried to force it, he said she was shaking, so he stopped. He even gets a doctor to testify that he is physically capable, and can get a soft erection. A soft erection. The court is probably thinking, is this a legal proceeding or a bad episode of a sitcom? The doctor found out that from the original size of 2 inches, or 5 centimeters, the genital of the defendant lengthened by 1 inch and 1 centimeter. Dr. Alteza said that the defendant had only a soft erection, which is why his genital is not in its full length. But still is capable of further erection, in that with his soft erection, the defendant is capable of having intercourse with a woman. The judge, looking at all this, is faced with a dilemma. Ming's own doctor says he is physically capable, so it's not a physical problem. But here's the kicker: they've been married for almost a year, sleeping in the same bed, and nothing has happened. The court, with a stroke of legal genius, says, you know what? This isn't about impotence. The court points to Article 36 of the Family Code, which deals with psychological incapacity. They say that senseless and protracted refusal to perform marital obligations is a sign of psychological incapacity. In other words, if you're physically able to have sex, but you just constantly refuse for no good reason, the law might just call that a mental or psychological issue that makes you unfit for marriage. The court didn't care whose fault it was, whether it was Ming's refusal or Gina's. The fact that the marital obligation of sexual cooperation was completely and senselessly non-existent for nearly a year was enough to declare the marriage null and void. The Supreme Court upheld the decision. So, what's the lesson here? A marriage isn't just a piece of paper. The law recognizes that a key part of marriage is the expectation of intimacy and procreation. And if one person is able-bodied but constantly, senselessly refuses to do their part, that can be a sign of something deeper. It's a good reminder that in a marriage, you can't just be roommates. And in the eyes of the law, sometimes, a nap is just a nap. but 10 months of napping is a legal problem.